You wake up. You follow the routine. You check the boxes on your to-do list. You work toward goals that everyone says are good goals. But late at night, when everything goes quiet, there is a question that will not leave you alone. Is this actually what I want? Or am I just living someone else's dream of what my life should be? There was a young samurai named Kenji who trained every single day for 5 years. His father had been a renowned warrior. His clan expected him to follow the same path. So Kenji studied the sword, practiced archery, memorized battle strategies. He improved steadily. Others praised his dedication. Yet each night, lying in his quarters, he felt a weight in his chest that grew heavier with each passing month. One evening, unable to bear it any longer, Kenji approached his oldest teacher, a retired warrior named Takeda, who now spent his days tending a simple garden. "Sensei," Kenji said, his voice tight with frustration, "I train harder than anyone. I follow every teaching. So why do I feel like I'm walking in circles, getting nowhere?" Takeda did not look up from the soil. He continued working, his hands moving through the earth with careful attention. Finally, he spoke. "Tell me, Kenji, whose dream are you chasing?" The question hit like a sword strike. Kenji opened his mouth to answer, then stopped. He realized with sudden clarity that he had never asked himself this. Not once. He was pursuing honor, because that is what samurai do. He was training in combat, because his father expected it. He was seeking mastery, because everyone told him it mattered. But he had never paused long enough to discover what he actually wanted. His entire life had been built on other people's visions for him. If you have ever felt this same confusion, you are not alone. Most of us spend years, sometimes decades, chasing goals we think we should want. We work toward careers our parents approve of. We pursue relationships that look good from the outside. We build lives that sound impressive when we describe them to others. And somewhere beneath all this movement, a quiet voice keeps asking the question we have learned to ignore. What do I actually want? The modern world makes this problem worse. We are drowning in images of what success should look like, what happiness should feel like, what a meaningful life should contain. Social media shows us 1,000 different versions of achievement. Our culture broadcasts standards. Our friends have opinions. And in all this noise, we lose track of our own true direction. The samurai understood something essential about this struggle. They knew that clarity about what you want does not come from collecting more information or setting better goals. It comes from a practice they called shingan, which means the eye of the heart, or authentic seeing. Shingan was about looking within yourself clearly enough to see what is genuinely yours and what you have borrowed from others. Before any important decision, a samurai would practice deep questioning. They would sit in silence and ask themselves not what they wanted to achieve, but why they wanted it. They would dig beneath the surface answer to find the root. This process was uncomfortable. Often, they discovered that their stated goals were covering up their real desires. Or worse, they were pursuing things they did not actually want at all. There was a swordsman named Tadashi who spent 20 years becoming the greatest duelist in his province. He won match after match. Other warriors respected him. His name became known. Yet each victory left him feeling more empty than the last. Each new title felt hollow. One day, after winning yet another tournament, Tadashi sat alone in a temple garden. The crowd had celebrated. The praise had been loud. But now, in the silence, he could no longer ignore the truth. He finally asked himself the question he had been avoiding for 2 decades. Why am I doing this? The first answer came quickly. To bring honor to my family. But Tadashi had learned to push deeper. Why does that matter to you? To prove my father was right to believe in me. And why must you prove this? Because I fear he was disappointed in who I really am. In that moment, the truth became clear. Tadashi had spent 20 years trying to become someone who would make his father proud. But his father had been dead for 15 years. He was chasing approval from a ghost, building his entire life around a fear, not a desire. Every fight he thought he wanted was just another way to avoid facing who he actually was. Here is the twist most people never see coming. This realization did not destroy Tadashi. It freed him. Within a year, he stopped competing entirely and became a teacher. He discovered that what he truly wanted was not to be the best, but to help others find their own path. The work was quieter, less impressive to outsiders, but for the first time in decades, when he lay down to sleep at night, he felt peace. The samurai approach to discovering what you really want rests on 3 practices. Each one strips away a layer of false desire until only authentic longing remains. The first practice works with silence. The samurai would sit in what they called kokoro meditation, bringing their attention to the heart-mind. Kokoro in Japanese means heart, mind, and spirit all at once, the center of your authentic self. This is not just sitting quietly. It is creating space where you stop performing for others and stop defending your current path. Most of us never pause long enough to hear our own inner voice because we are afraid of what it might say. We stay busy to avoid the discomfort of honest self-examination. We fill every moment with tasks and distractions so we never have to face the question, what if everything I am working toward is not actually what I want? To practice this kind of silence, you must actively question the life you are building. Sit with paper and write down your current goals. Then for each one, ask, why do I want this? Write the first answer that comes. Then ask again, but why does that matter? Keep asking until you reach something that feels true in your body, not just logical in your mind. Often, you will find that what you thought you wanted is actually a tool you're using to get something deeper, something you have not admitted to yourself. The second practice addresses confusion directly. The samurai recognized that not knowing what you want is usually not a lack of information. It is having too many voices in your head, each pulling you in different directions. Your father's voice says one thing. Your friend's voice says another. Society's voice adds more noise. Your own authentic desire is somewhere beneath all of this, but you cannot hear it through the interference. To clear this confusion, you must identify which voices are not yours. Make a list of the expectations you are carrying. Which ones came from your parents? Which from your culture? Which from your past self who no longer exists? The goal is not to reject all outside input, but to see it clearly so you can separate it from your own knowing. A merchant named Hana practiced this when she felt torn between 2 futures. She had built a successful tea shop over 10 years. Everyone told her to expand, to open more locations, to grow the business. The logic was clear. More shops meant more profit, more security, more success. But something in Hana could not let go of a different dream. Years ago, before the shop, she had loved working with clay. She would spend hours at a potter's wheel, feeling the earth take shape under her hands. She had given it up to build something practical, something that made financial sense. Now, at 40, she stood at a crossroads. Expand the business or start over as a potter. She wrote down every piece of advice she had received. Then she asked herself one question. If I strip away every should and every expectation, what does my spirit actually long to create? The answer came immediately. Beauty with my hands, not profit with my strategy. Within 6 months, she had sold her shop and apprenticed herself to a master potter. Her income dropped by half. Her happiness tripled. The third practice is about commitment. The samurai called this ichinen, which means single-pointed heart or one mind. The word captures an essential truth. Once you discover what you truly want, you must give it your complete commitment, without splitting your energy between what you desire and what others think you should desire. The samurai knew that a divided heart creates a divided life. You cannot walk 2 paths at once. At some point, you must choose. This is where most people fail. They gain clarity about what they want, but they try to pursue it while still maintaining the life they built for others. They try to honor both their authentic desire and their borrowed obligations. This creates endless conflict. You move slowly in both directions and arrive nowhere. The samurai would say, you must have the courage to disappoint others in service of your own truth. Not because their opinions do not matter, but because living a false life serves no one, least of all the people you love. Kenji faced this choice. After his conversation with Takeda, he spent weeks in quiet reflection. He discovered something that surprised him. What he truly wanted was not to fight at all. He wanted to work with wood, to build things that would last, to create beauty that people could use in their daily lives. When he told his family, they were devastated. His father's legacy, they said, the clan's honor. How could he abandon the warrior path? Other samurai called him weak. Some said he had dishonored his bloodline. But Kenji had made his choice. He became a carpenter, then a furniture maker. His work was simple, unknown to history. No one wrote songs about his tables or recorded his name in the chronicles of great warriors. But each morning when he woke, he felt something he had never felt during all those years of training. Peace, direction, the quiet satisfaction of living a life that was truly his. The path to knowing what you really want is not about adding more clarity to your thinking. It is about stripping away everything false until only truth remains. You already know what you want. You have just learned to hide it beneath layers of should and must and supposed to. Here is how you can begin this work. 1. Spend 10 minutes in complete silence each morning and ask, if no one would ever know what I chose, what would I choose? 2. Write down your current goals and trace each one back to its root by asking why at least 5 times. 3. Identify 3 expectations you are carrying that do not belong to you and consciously set them aside. 4. Notice what activities make you lose track of time and ask what they reveal about your natural direction. 5. Commit to one authentic desire fully, even if it disappoints someone you care about. The samurai remind us that the authentic life requires 2 things. First, honest seeing, the courage to look clearly at what you have been avoiding. Second, committed action, the courage to honor what you discover, even when it leads somewhere unexpected. Your life is yours to build, not your parents' life, not your culture's ideal, not what looks impressive to strangers on the internet. Yours! If you are ready to stop chasing borrowed dreams and discover your own true path, write in the comments, I will honor my authentic desire. Thank you for being here and for choosing to live with truth.